It's a true enchantment, the operatic world of piano concerti by Mozart. They live with you like characters of his operas. The music has embedded lyrics that are not needed to be told, since the projection of the gesture of the intervals suggests it: pleading, perky, hopeful, humble, mysterious. Oh, every time I think about it, I feel I'm peopled innerly with some kind of a fairy tale, an invitation. Would you like to dance with me? And then the theme. In the D minor concerto, you have feels more like a Don Giovanni opera, where you go from so many different expressions of the emotions of the character, narratively almost transparent in its honesty, beyond the lyrics, which are not spoken, sung. I find it very beautiful to consider the Mozart piano concerti, as they are for all of those of us who love them, as a family, extended family of his operas. In many aspects, everything in his writing is operatic in the sense of dramatization, humanity. In the C minor. So beautifully eloquent in its simplicity. The lips, the repeated notes, the longing, and then the acceptance. One can describe, as I do, or perhaps overstate what the music itself only is, in terms of the craftsmanship which produces in us this emotional response, or this intellectual response, or this characteristic response, because we feel we are reached in our souls at different levels, not only the emotional or only the intellectual. And there is some kind of melodic quality that is unbelievable in his piano concerti for an instrument which in his time, the early fortepiano, hardly had a length of sound in terms of imitation of the voice like later Chopin, Brahms would do. But I find that modern pianos perhaps overstate the length of it, but create the sense of perhaps spreading a bit the tempi. For instance, in the slow movement of number 121, so you have the decay of the held note until the drop and the rise from the under appoggiatura. in the 23rd concerto, such a benevolent elegance. But this chromatic drop in major is almost as if there's a smile in the tear. Or perhaps even mentioning it is cheesy too much. I realize that by hearing myself having said it. And the slow movement. Only adagio of 27 concerti, Siciliana. Today it's played barely naked. But in Mozart's time it was ornamented. And way beyond that, especially for the leaps. And then the B section, luminous relative major. And there is something to say about the candor and the elegance of the beauty of every aspect of the music of Mozart. For instance, the second themes in the sonata form first movements are very introspective, emotionally stating something very private. In this 23rd concerto in A major, it's on the dominant. But when the principal key is minor, like in the D minor concerto, you have the exposition of the introduction and then the tormented Don Giovaneschi overture stylistically. First theme. Transition to the second theme is neutral. Poker face. Drop of minor in the major, and then the second theme, like an enchanted moment. The usage of major and minor degrees in the F major by itself colorizes the emotional subtlety in the suggestion of the smile or the smile with withheld feelings. And then when it comes in the recapitulation, tonalized and in minor, plus the Neapolitan sixth enhancing and the diminished seventh chromaticism. and tritons. Then the acceptance at the end, as if nothing. I poured my soul, but that's all. And therefore becomes. And you could say, yes, it's only the fact of the principal minor key. I myself wonder to which extent I overstate the emotional response that I feel is injected in this different statement of the second theme, luminous in relative major and sort of in acceptance in D minor. Perhaps for Mozart, it wasn't that drastically meaningful in a contrast aspect of the word, but I don't know, and it doesn't really matter. It's what matters to the persons who live it alive. I mean, you can analyze it and argue it and discuss it, and it's incredibly valuable to have these discussions because you try to understand what you love, and you don't really understand why you love it, but you look at the ways it's constructed, but it keeps, after all these years and decades of living with a Mozart concerto inner world, in plural, concerti, for piano, in the operatic sense of the opera seria, has been an enchanted voyage of life, to share them with audience or just with students, of course, and also with oneself.